I'm Gary McLean. I'm the Universal Sport Coordinator at the University of Gloucestershire, and this presentation looks to identify the journey that the institution has been on in regards to the recognition of sport and physical activity and the significant impact that this has had on the university in its students and the wider community. This will include how the development of sporting opportunities has taken place over the last 3 years, the profile of sport at the university, and the developing culture across the university in relation to the perception of sport. I think it's really important to set the scene in regards to the background of the institution and the barriers that this has created previously in regards to access to sport and physical activity. The University of Gloucestershire is a post-1992 institution with a commitment to serving communities and the economy in the county and wider southwest region. It's founded on a long history of higher education in Cheltenham and Gloucester, which includes the legacy of the famous PE colleges of St Paul's and St Mary's. A number of these smaller institutions merged in 1990 to become Cheltenham and Gloucester College of Higher Education, and then the University of Gloucestershire was formed in 2001. The university now occupies 2 campuses in Cheltenham. The Park is a former botanical garden in the south of the town, while Francis Close Hall is a Victorian college environment in an area proximate to both Leisure at Cheltenham, which is the Borough Council's major sports facility, and the Prince of Wales Athletic Stadium. And both of these sites have modest green spaces, but neither has purpose-built sport facilities of any kind. Oxtal's campus in Gloucester was opened in 2004 in order to accommodate a growing range of sport and physical activities and educational courses, and incorporates all purpose-built sport facilities. And the 2 towns, 8 miles apart, are culturally very distinctive. Cheltenham is an affluent area, Regency town, with a thriving nighttime economy, and Gloucester is very much a bigger city with an industrial past, areas of significant urban deprivation, and has historically low rates of participation in higher education. The university currently has approximately 9,000 students. Of these, just fewer than 2,000 are located in Gloucester, with the rest living in and around the Cheltenham campuses. Students study largely professional courses as well, courses in sport, media, arts, business and education, at foundation and undergraduate and postgraduate levels. The university has a long history of sporting endeavour, much of which is founded on much of a traditional team sports and fraternal culture, which has in recent years particularly been an impediment on inclusion. In 2010, the university identified a significant number of barriers to participation in sport and in physical activity, which was created by the makeup of the institution, which very much included a fraternal subculture, which manifested itself in different families and has been a feature of life of the institution over the last 100 years. Throughout the 20th century, they shaped the subcultures of sports teams with the apparent traditions of initiations and drinking circles and things like striping, which were increasingly prominent during the 1990s and early 2000s. And with the number of teams growing in this period, supervision of clubs by the Students' Union became increasingly challenging, and a series of high-profile behavioural problems culminated, and actually a criminal incident in 2009 took place. Rightly fearful of negative publicity in the national and international media, the university took the decision to close down its men's football and rugby union clubs, and furthermore, in order to address the melee of sports culture in general and football and rugby clubs in particular, the university created a new position for the Director of Sport at the university. By the autumn of 2010, the 2 clubs had been reinstated, with staff involved as coaches and mentors, and an express commitment to an equitable and meritocratic pathway in each sport. A new partnership between the university and the Students' Union had been forged, and an application to Sport England's Active Universities Fund had also been accepted. Within this process, a new number of issues and barriers to participation in sport and physical activity were identified around the sport and the provision at the university, and this included a lack of access to sport and physical activity, inadequate provision with inappropriate environments for students seeking to sort of step into sport for the first time and to try new sports at higher education, and inadequate provision of attractive and appropriate sporting activities that enabled growth in participation and opened up those opportunities using sport as a vehicle for students to develop alongside their academic courses. An example of this would be utilising placement and volunteering opportunities alongside sport at the university. Universal was therefore launched in 2011, delivering accessible, affordable and appropriate sporting opportunities to its student community with the ambition to grow and sustain sports participation. Delivered in several ways, Universal provided a weekly timetable of product-led sporting offers that were pitched in a way that provided attractive and inclusive sporting opportunities in very much a safe and welcoming environment for students to step into sport and really give sport a go during their time at the university. This has enabled the university to overcome a number of those identified barriers of which we presented with initially, specifically removing some of the perceptions that sport only takes place in those high-pressured, coached environments, and that participation can be fun and enjoyable in a more relaxed and informal setting that Universal has created. Sport very much was seen that it wasn't just something that took place on our Oxley's campus where our purpose-built sport facilities occur. This delivery has enabled us to begin to provide some meaningful and identifiable pathways for students to identify progression and provide enhanced variety of opportunities in a select number of sports. The example provided in the slide identifies how the adoption of the No Strings badminton product, supported by Badminton England, has enabled a step into the game for students, and how Universal Sport has provided additional formats to support this and really championing progression and variety. The university has also recently become the lead partner of the Cheltenham and Gloucester Community Badminton Network, where it has a real opportunity to really tie together the delivery of badminton within the county. To create this offer, Universal and the university has needed to create new innovative partnerships with very much mutual benefit to both the university and its respective partners. And some of the key partnerships that have enabled Universal to achieve success with its objectives have included local authority, very much its facility partnerships, whereby the students at the university were able to purchase a Universal Sport card, which has provided them access to Universal Sport's timetable, delivered between the hours of 4 and 6 p.m. Monday to Friday at the centre, and very much supported by a service level agreement held between the university and the facility. All of this was delivered at concessionary rates, and the card also supplied added benefits with access to all of the facilities, including swimming, gym usage, sports hall, squash court hire, and also had a very comprehensive exercise to music timetable, which has proved to be very popular amongst our students. This partnership has also enabled us to obtain very detailed reports about the engagement with the student body and the facility and the activities that they take part in, and has really allowed us to return these sort of monitoring forms and statistics back to Sport England and enable us to be very accurate with our monitoring and reporting with this project. The internal departments within our university and cross-departmental working was very, very important to us. Things like working with student services to ensure that signposting was possible to some of these new opportunities to students. An example would be our Sport Buddy programme and working with the mental health and wellbeing services within student services at the university. And also Sport England. We don't just view Sport England as a funding stream, but a support mechanism that enables us to harness the learning from projects across the higher education sector and enables us really to share models of good practice. Initially, investment has been made into external community coaches, and that was supported by the County Sports Partnership. And the partnership with our local CSP has enabled us to develop a sustainable model, if you like, of ongoing recruitment for a continuation of effective communities of practice to deliver the project at the university. This has enabled the university to develop an appropriate workforce of higher education voluntary officers that deliver the programme effectively on a weekly basis. This programme provides added value to the students, very much enhancing the opportunity for them to take part in experiential learning opportunities that support academic learning and that connect them to the professional network with respective national governing bodies to enable them to create very much a portfolio of experiences that contribute towards their employability skills longer term. Hello, my name's Gary McLean. I'm the Universal Sport Coordinator for the University of Gloucestershire. To get involved in Universal Sport, simply come down to the Leisure Centre and talk to one of the friendly receptionists to pick up your £6 Universal card.
It's just fun, it's sociable, it's not competitive tennis.
It's quite a fast-paced game, it's really, really enjoyable. So yeah, I mean, anyone who likes five-a-side is going to enjoy futsal.
It's non-contact, anyone can play, it's team sport, and it's quite tactical and quite interesting when you get into it.
For all ages, all abilities, all sizes, all shapes, You just kind of have a wiggle and a laugh and a shimmy and a shake.
Running is a really, really easy sport to be involved with. There's no equipment. The university running groups are absolutely free.
It's all about toning and strengthening.
Yeah, strengthening my inner core.
Do a lot of drills and exercises, and like I said, it's fitness based, but also a lot of team building, a lot of teamwork, so it's a social element as well as the fitness element.
Because it's nice to do something else and only your homework.
We don't do any other sports.
It's really good. Specific to cardio tennis, it's perfect for me because I'm a first team player here. The movements and fitness are relevant to the match play.
It's good fun. Get to listen to music and yeah.
It's a good way to stay fit whilst at university. Because everyone knows you end up spending most of the time drinking as well. So.
It's just good fun, and yeah, it doesn't matter your ability. It's just more about just enjoying yourself.
The Universal Card will also provide you concessionary rates at the Leisure Centre's fitness facility, where all their friendly fitness instructors will provide you with a programme that fits your individual needs.
It's just being active, having a chance to drop here, to get involved with sports.
It really works.
Yeah, it's just, you
and
feel the burn. It's quite fun to do with your friends. You can laugh at each other's pain.
Came today for the first time.
Yeah, it's
I literally
really
just turned up.
Like the flexibility of being able to drop in and out. If you can't come for 1 week, then it's not a problem. You can just come the next. There's no commitment, you know. Yeah.
I think anyone can come by and do this session and just play around, basically.
Literally, as soon as you've got your Universal Sport cards, you can come whenever you want each week, or so whenever it's free for you.
And for as little as £1.10, you can access the swimming pool here at Leisure at Cheltenham using your Universal Card at off-peak times throughout the week.
It's cheap. It's £2 a session. A lot cheaper than going to a gym session. Yeah, definitely.
You know, there's a night 4U bus which runs every 20 minutes, so it's pretty easy to get to.
So you get this little card where they give you like a sticker every time you come. Then once you've collected enough, you get a free session on top of that.
It's just come along and play, have fun, that's all it is.
The Universal Sport video, which you've just seen there, really helps us bring the project to life, and it was created by a student media team that enabled us to really identify to students, staff and many of our stakeholders within the project that Universal Sport is very much a project that is inclusive and very much identify how it's delivered, encompassing a broad range of activities within the programme and also to the wider local community. Recruitment, retention, student experience, graduate employability, widening participation are all just some of the key buzzwords that are continually used across the HE sector, and very much how higher education institutions are looking at being a little bit more strategic within their offer to incoming and prospective students. The university has had a close association with sport and physical education over the last 150 years. Teams from contributory colleges have made a real impact on the national stage. However, unfortunately, particularly in the last decade, this impact has probably been less predominant and slightly more negative, and therefore has led to the university and also other higher education institutions probably questioning its investment in competitive and also participatory sport. However, the success of Universal has reassured key stakeholders that sport can continue to play a significant role in the institution and that it can actually be a distinctive feature of the broader student experience. At the same time, and alongside this, the success of athletes, and in particular the University of Gloucestershire All Golds, a professional rugby league team at the university, Lizzie Arnold at the Winter Olympics, and also our University of Gloucestershire Futsal National League team. The addition of impact from outreach initiatives, for example our Sport Malawi programme, and the Relays Olympic Legacy Project, No Limits Disability Sports Clubs, has demonstrated that sport can really be the engine that drives a rich and inspiring co-curricular realm. Back in 2012, research identified an increased number of students leaving university courses in the last couple of years, which resulted in the highest record dropout rates. And this rise in dropout has been attributed to the further increase in the numbers of students going on to study in higher education. The recent white paper, Higher Education, Students at the Heart of the System, identifies that changes being made to the HE funding will in turn drive a more responsive system, and that to be successful, institutions will have to appeal to prospective students and be respected by employers. This is supported by the National Union of Students, who identified that 25% of the total student population really declared their main reason for attending university in 2010-11 was for the experience. And in this instance, there is an increased and clear necessity to ensure that the student experience is catered for within universities. And although there are many aspects within higher education that provide the makeup for all student experience, sport does play a large part in this. HE in England has undergone a period of real fundamental change, and in 2012 a significant shift in the way universities and colleges are funded took place. And from the 2012-13 academic year, students starting university were and are still now required to fund much of their the cost for their education themselves, with access to publicly funded loans, and with universities obviously charging up to £9,000 a year for their courses. With these changes comes an increased driven and competitive climate across the HE sector. The increased competitive climate across the sector has in turn meant that recruitment of prospective students is paramount for the business of each institution, and therefore the enrichment of the student experience has become a priority focus across the HE sector. In order to maximise the benefits of those interrelated schemes previously mentioned, and to ensure that students can really learn effectively and authentically from these initiatives, the university has committed to an institution-wide strategy for sport. Universal will sit at the heart of this strategy, creating the sustainable pathways that enable students to engage meaningfully in sport as players, as coaches, leaders, officials and volunteers, but also in an academic realm, in things like research, as journalists, photographers, therapists. And the co-curricular sport at Gloucestershire provides a productive realm for participation and excellence, but is also an excellent vehicle for transformative experiential learning, and as identified through the development of our workforce and additional communities of practice in the associated sort of programmes that we've mentioned previously. This is the first time the University of Gloucestershire has adopted a strategic approach to sport, and the sport strategy will coordinate the work of the various schools and departments that will have a stake in sports delivery, and will cross-reference with a number of other sport strategies. For example, people and culture, teaching and learning, and the wider developing university estates, in order to align approaches to planning and investment at the university. This process will help to give sport a stake in the major decisions that affect the institution, and will also raise the profile of Universal and other sports initiatives that those in significant leadership positions. The strategy will be broken down into 5 strategic working groups that feed into the sports board, which include performance, participation, branding, placement and volunteering, and sort of space and facility developments. And communication has been imperative during the process and has been enhanced through a new sports board that will oversee and monitor and approve the strategy, and will communicate the progress of the strategy directly with the university executive and the council groups. And this will adopt different methods of communication away from the top-down approach, which has become increasingly important. And much of this is about listening to what our students want and the continual assessment of the demand from our incoming students and our current prospective students to the university. The strategy will also reflect on the core values of the university and will make a major contribution to the university's aspirations to promote enterprise, employability, and the wider economic, social and cultural benefit to the community, to build strong partnerships with selected local agencies for very much a mutual benefit, and to place students at the centre of all the activities in which the university delivers. In addition, the promotional strategies associated with specific interventions, Universal will continue to stimulate debate about the role of sport and physical activity in the universities. In order to achieve this, Universal team will work closely with academic staff to shape the assessments and create research opportunities and scholarship opportunities, and further embedding sport into the academic delivery at the university. In terms of delivery, Universal has had a major impact on changing the perception of sport at the university by providing that non-competitive, less pressurised environment. And the table identified in the slide provides a bite-sized snapshot of insight pre- and post-delivery that the university to highlight the importance in the way in which sport is delivered. We've also sought to utilise campus spaces where we're more likely to engage participants, and that really has helped us develop that campus community and a sense of belonging to the project. Studies in the US have shown how campus communities require purposeful activity, openness, discipline, justice, care and celebration in order to really thrive and grow. and they've also demonstrated how sport and recreational programs can help institutions to achieve these characteristics. By doing that, they've created a sense of association and belonging, and by connecting students to meaningful projects as participants, leaders, volunteers, and also scholars. Through the provision of more inclusive nature and enhancing the cultural perception of sport, Universal is engaged with 2,758 new participants directly with the programme in the first 3 years, with over 2,000 students taking advantage of the Universal Sport Card at some of our local partners and our facility providers, and also those extending the opportunity to take up a centre membership. Over 300 students have engaged with intramural football and our Universal Football programme, which is a significant shift considering our position 3 or 4 years ago with our men's football and rugby union programmes. Over 2,000 participants have also engaged and enjoyed the Cheltenham Park Run, a new established formalised Cheltenham Park Run in the local community, which is also overseen by many of our students on placement and volunteering opportunities. Over 70 coaches have newly been qualified and deployed into the project and in the wider community, with over 150 new volunteers that have also been delivering on the project in the last 3 years. New sports have been especially well received when they are delivered on or near campus locations and have led it to an appropriately experienced level 2 coach, foster an inclusive culture and have relaxed and a flexible feel as identified in the previous table in the previous slide. The input of the HE activators and coordinators is central to the success of this intervention, where national governing bodies have been fully engaged and offered good training and networking opportunities. The activators have been highly motivated and have thoroughly enjoyed and had a high quality experience. And this has been supported through the HE officer evaluation forms that are collected at the end of the academic year, which suggests that those continually and consistently engaging with national governing bodies feel that they're most valued and feel supported within those roles. There were also fears initially that the increase in participation rates instigated by Universal might have a detrimental effect on membership levels with student union teams and student union clubs. This has not been the case, that currently our student union club membership hovers around 900 to 1,000 engaged members. There is also evidence to suggest that sports where success has been achieved through the provision of those identifiable pathways with a select number of sports, which we suggested earlier in the presentation, sports such as badminton and tennis, have also identified a modest increase in club membership, and this has been recorded most notably in female participants. Integration with university staff has also taken place through innovative delivery. The university members of staff and its respected students have been brought together, utilising sport and physical activity as a central focus. And this is something that has not been experienced previously and very much has contributed to the creation of that better campus environment and a community and the sense of belonging to the university. The most productive academic communities are those where students can enjoy a rich co-curricular realm, and that helps them grow as individuals but also connects directly with their subject or discipline in which they study. Students in these contexts are more likely to be resilient and to persist with their studies and to fully engage with their academic learning at the university. Recent studies in the UK, an example would be the work that Bucks has done previously in regards to the employability and the relationship with sport, would attest to the employability of students who engage with sport in these ways. By developing lasting and effective sporting pathways, Universal has supported the university to develop these features, and it also seeks to become a well-integrated academic community in which all of its staff and students are valued, all of its staff and students are actively engaged, and to which all students and staff are glad to belong to. The impact of sport on senior executives is about presenting a continual case which is underpinned by further investment. This has been and is still extremely hard to win the argument, particularly internally, when money and financial investment sought by various departments is tight and sport is not also a core activity delivered by the university. However, the stimulus of Active University's funding has allowed us to begin to demonstrate the power, the value of sport, and begin to show how it can be run professionally and in a way that aligns with higher education. That's both in terms of the university experience and the student experience like we mentioned previously, but also something worth studying and understanding. There is also more that can be done across the HE sector and with us in particular as an institution. Although that Universal has been a huge success in gradually shifting cultural perception of sport and enhancing its current provision, the university still has a lot that can be done to continue to develop our sporting offer and also increase the number of people playing sport and students playing sport on a regular basis, and particularly on entry into higher education. Through the increase in the creation of additional identifiable pathways to the prospective students, and this is something that the university will look to do if successful in its endeavour to attain further funding through the Sport England Activation Fund that has recently been announced by Sport England. This is also aligned further to the strategic plan at the university in the drive to be more strategic in its approach to recruit many of its prospective students, and that it will also adopt a much more collaborative approach with our outreach team at the university, and with the recent implementation of the Sport Development Coordinator, Larea Sorobi, who sits within the Students' Union, will also support these club developments and identifiable pathways going forward. The diagram on the slide identifies how the institution is looking to very much engage more with its further education partners to provide more and highlight its academic pathways, as well as aligning its sporting offer with these, and to support those crucial transitions, if you like, with students into the university, higher education, and to prevent further drop-off in sports participation. An example of this is some work that has been completed recently by the university in partnership with Bucks in obtaining the licence to deliver Team 23, the recognisable follow-on from Team 16 and Team 19, which is delivered at secondary and further education. And in addition, has also had an application that we're soon to submit to become a community hub club for football in the wider community at the university. By developing excellent opportunities for experiential learning, further development and investment in universal sport can also help students to become more enterprising, more centrally aware, and more likely to engage in the innovative community development activities through the Gloucestershire in very much what it's gaining a national reputation for. Sports becoming the central driver in the university's ambition to fulfil its unique responsibilities of a service to the communities in our locality and beyond. And the approach will be at the heart of the new sports strategy, which we've kind of identified within this presentation, and will aim to support very much a culture where sport becomes the primary vehicle for students as they seek to apply their knowledge and to develop their skills that will serve them later on in life as future employees, as entrepreneurs and also citizens. In summary, the presentation has addressed the issues the university has faced in regarding its sport provision. It's identified the journey over the last 3 years and the impact that the Sport England funding has had on the university, both on the profile of sport, its perception across the university, and how this has begun to shift over the last 3 years. I hope that the presentation provides an insight into a model of how our universities seek to develop sport and how it's looked to embed it within its academic provision, and has been thought-provoking, which was really my ambition within putting the presentation together. I'd like to thank you for your time, and if you have any questions in regards to the presentation that I've provided today, then please don't hesitate to contact me on the details provided on this slide.